Okay, so you might have heard that I am actually a private investigator. I am actually a private investigator. No, it's a job, people, okay? It's my job. So I'm going to tell you a real story, but I'm not going to tell you the whole one because it's too long, okay? So I'm going to tell you the middle, not the beginning or the end. So let's all be in place. I am sitting in the backseat of a rental car. I am in Burbank, California. I am sitting next to a man from India who is muttering in Hindi. My partner is driving the car. There is a 9-year-old little girl sitting on my lap, wrapped around my neck, screaming into my ears. We have just kidnapped her. We have kidnapped her back. She belonged to her father. He had custody. Because of all the things that happened in the first quarter of the story, which I'm not going to tell you because it's just too long. Mom took her, Dad got her back, I found her. In the process, I had to get, I had to join a new religious cult. God bless me. My mother was very upset because she thought I was Jewish, but I became a strange born-again Christian something in order to find the child, and now the child was on my lap. The reason the child was screaming is because the minister from his own religion, not any that we would recognize, had told her that her father killed Christ. Which was kind of a relief for me because I'm Jewish, you know? And I thought... So anyhow, so the kid is screaming and the little Indian man is talking in Hindi, and my partner is driving very fast because there's another sound. It's the sound of the police going, woo, 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 because they're chasing us. We're in Burbank, California. We have just kidnapped a child. They don't know we have custody. They just know that Dad took the child off the street, threw her in my lap, and we are driving. I think we're driving to LAX so I can go home because I'm tired. I have been back and forth from New Jersey to California 11 times that summer. I have read the entire book of Matthew 5 times. I have gone through conversion lessons. I have had a minister hit on me. I am fucking tired of this. I want to go home. And this kid doesn't stop crying. And finally I said, don't worry about it, honey. I know your dad didn't kill Christ. I know all about that. I know who did. So she calms down, and my partner, being smart and wily, doesn't take us to LAX because the cops are behind us and we're speeding through the streets of Burbank and I don't know what's going on. So he goes to Burbank International Airport instead. And he doesn't go to drop us off at the departures so that we can get a plane. He drops us off at the arrivals so we can get into a cab that is waiting to take people who are arriving into Burbank. And he continues on. The cops continue to chase him. We hop into a cab. By the way, for those of you who are relatively young, a cab is that thing that was there before we were. Okay, and they used to line up, and you take one of them. Anyhow, so we're now in a cab. I pull a $50 bill out, I throw it over at the cab driver, I say, pay no attention to anything that's happening back here, but get us to LAX. We get to LAX. There are no cops following us. We go to one of those special things where you have to pay another $50 a person for the club, like the United Club or whatever, and we hide out there because it's better to hide there than it is in the general population. And we wait there. Now, the child has not left my neck. The child has not gone over to her dad. This is not good because the father took the child to get her back and they're not communicating. He's still talking in Hindi. She doesn't understand Hindi. I'm confused and there's a kid on my neck. All right? So finally, they start to bond a little bit because he has remembered to bring a toy that she left behind when Mom took her a year ago. And so he gives her the toy and her eyes light up. And she starts to reach over and slowly touch his hand. And I feel that something is finally happening. Except now it's time to get on the plane. It's midnight, we gotta get on the red eye. So we figure if they're looking for us, they're gonna look for an Indian man, a white woman, and a little girl. So we separate. Obviously, it's easier for me to take the child than it is for a man to take the child. So the child is still on my neck, and we proceed to give our tickets to the ticket taker and go into that umbilical tube that leads to the plane. So I've got the kid, they've taken my ticket. I'm really excited because I'm going to get on the plane and go home to my own children. And I start to walk down with the kid, and I'm whispering in her ear, Gita, we're going to make it, we're going to make it, it's going to be okay. And two very large men walk towards us. One takes this arm, one takes that arm, they lift me up off my feet and walk me backwards through the umbilical cord until I am in general population, back in the plane terminal. And the police are waiting for me, a lot of them, a whole bunch of them. And there's a whole cordon because everybody thinks that we're filming a movie because it's LA. And the father is somewhere under a seat, somewhere, still speaking in Hindi. And I end up in a holding cell in LA Police Department, being accused of kidnapping, with a 9-year-old little girl still attached to me in the holding cell because they tried to take her away and she wouldn't go. That was the last child recovery I did because I realized that the child gets injured more than the parents do. Their crass disregard for the emotions of the child are just way too much. There's a whole bunch more to the story. At 4 o'clock in the morning, they put me on a plane with the child still around my neck, and I ended up in Akron, Ohio, because it was the first plane that left Los Angeles. A female security person said to me, don't come back. We don't want you here. That's really nice to hear. Eventually we got back from Akron. Eventually the child and the mother and the father all united and had some kind of a closure. But yeah, life is sometimes very interesting, not always what you want. And sometimes you're chased and sometimes you're chased. Thank you.